Although I'm older than you and I was probably as old as many of your parents, what I want to do is just go back to my first few years out of Amherst and then leapfrog to something that's going on right now in international that makes it appropriate for me to be here. And I think you can take the lessons from my non-international early story, I think, to heart for your own work here in developing a career in international relations or business or NGO work. So it was my junior year. Between my junior and senior year, I found myself interning in Venice, California, which at that time was a really down and out kind of place, in a service organization that was providing arts and cultural programs to disadvantaged youth in that community, white, black, and Chicano. And when I came back to Amherst, moved by something I couldn't quite define, I went to my advisor in political science, who was Professor Arkes. To give you a measure of how old we are, the three of us from 1970, Professor Arkes' first year was our freshman year. And he was a different kind of guy back then. He was very much involved in community development and community and urban politics, and that for some reason captured my energy and interest, and I was a musician of sorts. And so what I saw happening in a neighborhood arts workshop was something about community and the arts. I couldn't quite define what, but it intrigued me. I wanted to know more. And with Professor Arkes' guidance, I ended up writing a paper on how cultural programs are actually excellent ways to deliver political teaching into communities that otherwise are being basically dominated and oppressed by methods of training civics that are not part of their own world. And the beauty of arts programs is that they can let people express themselves. And so all of that fascinated me. And with that kind of fascination, and having written my honors thesis on that, I found out about people and places and things that it interested me. And to be honest with you, I kind of wondered what it would be like to work there. And the there was the National Endowment for the Arts, which was just starting up back then, a federal agency. And so through a sequence of opportunities that started when I attended an Institute in Arts Administration at Harvard after I graduated from Amherst, where I met a bunch of adults who were already working in this field called arts administration in community arts development, I ended up meeting the first 7 of my employers, my first 7 jobs, which happened very quickly. So networking became very important to me, and they loved how I wrote, they loved how I spoke, and I found myself in keeping in touch with these people, again, just sort of intuitively, feeling like they could be of help to me. And I ended up 8 years later at the National Endowment for the Arts. I won't go through the whole litany of the jobs, running the first community arts-based funding program in the United States. And I was, however old, I was 26 years old, 28 years old. All of that having started my junior year here at Amherst. Now, I'm not saying a lot of people will find that to be true, but when in the Q&A I might embellish where I think the lessons are around what happened to me that could happen to anybody. So yes, when I left Amherst College, I knew I was going to UCLA, Graduate School of Business, to study arts management. I knew I had a group of people who I would contact for my internships and my job opportunities. I wrote those letters I needed to. I had no hesitation to make the calls and found myself in this pathway very quickly to achieving some fairly significant positions in a field that I seem to have loved immediately, having been fascinated by it. And leapfrog to today, I don't even know if did it buzz? Oh. Leapfrog to today, 3 years ago, my daughter is invited into a cross-cultural program, educational program to Thailand. My wife can't go. As a chaperone mentor, I get invited to go. I go there and I am immediately drawn to this country and connect with some Thai Buddhist monks there and some conservationists there and some leaders in the travel and tourism business there, and connect myself back to the original intent of my life back in Amherst, which was how to make the world work for people so that their dreams could be fulfilled within their own communities. And so with that, found myself engaged in creating travel and tour opportunities. And in 2012, during interterm, 1 year from now, I will be leading a tour with Amherst College students and alumni on a 17-day service learning program to Thailand to experience how Buddhism in a country in a country that's Buddhist principles and doctrine can actually create a difference in community and economic development. So I'm on the travel and tourism side and the service learning side of international careers right now.